Yuri on Ice was a sports anime that aired in the winter of 2016. It followed a figure skater named Yuri Katsuki who was one day offered coaching by his idol Viktor Nikiforov for the upcoming Winter Olympics. However, it's mostly loved by the community for its queer representation at a time where it wasn't very common in anime or animation in general. Yuri on Ice is an anime that has done what only a few anime managed to do, which is break into the mainstream. Back during Yuri on Ice's peak in 2016 to 2018, everyone knew of Yuri on Ice, even people who didn't watch anime, me included. You see, Yuri on Ice was actually the first anime I ever watched back in 2018. It was also one of the first anime I was fully conscious of, the others being anime such as Naruto or Dragon Ball. I'll talk a bit more about why I actually started watching Yuri on Ice later. I promise it's relevant to this. It also won basically every award it was nominated for at the Anime Awards in 2016, which made a lot of male anime-tubers upset. Although I would say that it winning as many awards as it did says more about its popularity than anything else. I've talked about my issues with the Anime Awards before, but I'll definitely make a new video because it's somehow gotten worse. Anyways, lastly, Yuri on Ice was one of two shows that Mappa credits for putting the newest studio on the map. It was one of the anime that was a catalyst in allowing Mappa to later go on to animate in their big hits such as Season 4 of Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Chainsaw Man. And out of these shows, Yuri on Ice's Blu-ray sales in the first week are still the highest Mappa has ever made. I played around with a few different video ideas while scripting this. At first, I was going to do a deep dive as to why the anime may have been cancelled, but then I realized that I didn't actually know enough about the production industry to make an informed video on that, and also a bunch of other anime tubers had already done that. As I was writing the script for this video, it morphed into me talking about one of my Roman empires, one of my favorite things to talk about, which is the formula that Yuri on Ice followed that made it as successful as it ended up being. So in this video, I'll be talking about those three things that made Yuri on Ice the cultural phenomenon that it is today. The first and most important thing that Yuri on Ice did is it didn't market itself as a BL. By this, I mean there was absolutely nothing from the creators or the studio about there being a queer relationship being featured in the anime. The only confirmation of a gay relationship happened in the infamous episode 7, and by then the show was already one of the most popular of the season. The effect of not marketing the gay relationship was that when the show was announced for the season, it got a lot of buzz from all sorts of people. People who were curious about the figure skate animation and also in another sports anime. These people included shonen fans, which meant that before the confirmation in episode 7, the show was being watched by all sorts of people, not just BL fans, which allowed it to break into the mainstream just due to the complete shock that people felt at there being queer representation in such a popular show. I don't think Yuri on Ice would have been as popular as it was if they had said early on that Viktor and Yuri were going to be together. The second point kind of just goes hand in hand with the first, and that is Yuri on Ice was an anime original, which meant that there was no source material to look back on. If there was, people would have known that it was going to be gay and probably wouldn't have tuned in, if I'm being completely honest. Because as you know, a lot of BLs are only actually watched by BL fans, not like a large audience like shonens are. And so marketing a queer relationship limits the viewership to BL fans and others, but mostly BL fans. The third thing that Yuri on Ice did was it came out during a time where gay relationships between the main characters was almost unheard of, especially in anime. There wasn't a lot of media featuring queer relationships that wasn't only about the fact that they weren't straight. So when Yuri and Viktor became canon, it was crazy because a lot of people had never seen something like that before. Even the biggest Victory shippers were shocked because they didn't expect it to ever be canon. That was almost like unheard of. Also, I think it's worth mentioning here that shows like Voltron aired in the same year, and at the time there was a lot of discourse about the ship Clans and whether or not it was even allowed to be canon, as back during this time gay relationships in animation were so sparse that people didn't even know if something like that was legal. I really want you guys to let that sink in. Queer relationships were so sparse that people didn't even think it was legal. That was the time that we were in when the episode 7 of Yuri on Ice came out. People didn't even know that it was legal for them to show what they showed. Victory being canon brought in a lot of people who wanted to see if canonical queer relationships were actually something that was possible in mainstream media. This comes back to why I watched Yuri on Ice. I started watching Yuri on Ice after season 8 of Voltron aired, since I was disappointed that Clans wasn't canon and I wanted to consume a show with canonical gay romance in it. I, like a lot of other people, didn't know if it was allowed for there to be canonical queer romances in mainstream media, and so watching Yuri on Ice made me even more disappointed by the ending of season 8 of Voltron, because I was like, we actually could have got Clans, like you guys could have done it. There are a few other points worth mentioning, such as the fact that Yuri on Ice came out during the winter season. meaning that the recency bias and overall popularity meant it won a lot of awards at the Anime Awards, creating a lot of buzz for the show, as anime fans were upset that a gay show won over their favorite anime of the year. I mean, none of them said it was because it was gay, but you know, you know. Also, the representation in Yuri on Ice could technically be explained away, meaning there was enough plausible deniability for there to be fans of the show who didn't care for queer representation, if that makes sense. There's a lot of things that the success of the show could be attributed to. I think Yuri on Ice is a case of right place at the right time equaling maximum result. I think this is why a lot of people were sad to see Yuri on Ice be cancelled. The show represented a nugget of time where people experienced a type of queer joy that you just kind of had to be there to understand the context of the time to truly understand its impact. This show was a step in the right direction for queer representation. It felt like a new era where the community may be able to see themselves be represented in mainstream media. This one little scene in a silly little sports anime filled the hearts of so many people and gave hope to millions of people watching. Thank you all for watching if you got this far. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like to add as to why you think you and I did so well. And I'll see you guys in my next video, which is a video I'm very excited for you guys to all see. See you next time. Bye.